Welcome to Lock It Down Sports. I'm your host, Locke Hoover. You can follow me on Twitter at Lock It Up Media. That's Lock It Up Media on Twitter. You can also check us out at E5280 Sports. That's E5280 Sports. And today on the show, there's a battle between the NFL and college football. What $7 million buys you, and has this died out in Major League Baseball? But first, let me get into this. And this is not a topic I wanted to do, expected to do, especially this early in the season with the injury to Ronald Acuna Jr. And where do the Braves go from here? Because I did not expect to be trying to figure out what the Braves are going to be doing at the trading deadline in the outfield. That was the only thing you expected from the Braves would be to add a bullpen piece here or there with Spencer Strider going down. Maybe you add a starter. But you like your rotation with Sale and Fried. Ronaldo Lopez is doing right now. Charlie Morton, the ups and the downs. So your top four is fine. And that's really what you need for the playoffs anyway. That fifth spot, they're working through things with flip of a coin, and that's you starting this week. But outfield, I think the Braves are going to let it breathe a little bit and see what they're getting from Adam Duvall and Jared Keltnick starting full time. So it's not going to be an immediate thing of crap. We're in trouble. We've got to make a move. No, it's not. It's not that. But here's what I do think the Braves are going to do. I think they're going to get two outfielders here. And they've got a few options for you. First one, it's going to be Tommy Pham. Guaranteed will be traded from the White Sox because the White Sox are already out of it. They're not doing anything. They're terrible. The most available of these four guys I'm going to bring up. Solid professional hitter. He's on a one-year deal and only making $3 million. So the Braves are trying to find a trading partner, work with their luxury tax. They've said they don't want to go over that third luxury tax, which will affect your draft picks. So that's kind of where, like, a lower salary kind of guy. And of course they won't be taking all that $3 million. They'll be taking, the remainder of the salary for that year. Solid last year. And off to a good start this year. Can play left, can play right. Either one will be fine. So that's an option as well as for the first option. And I could see him as more of your full-time guy. If they say they only make one move in the outfield, he might be your guy that, he's your starter and right. And then you have Duvall and Kelnick still platooning the lefty-righties out and left. Another guy I really like, I think could be a move, and he's similar to the vein, very similar to Adam Duvall, and that's Hunter Renfroe. Like I said, he's like Adam Duvall, so to low average, but a power guy. Not as good as a fielder as Duvall. And he's currently hitting 167 with 4 homers and 20 RBIs and 144 at-bats. But remember now, that hasn't stopped the Braves in the past of bringing in a guy that has struggled a little bit. Yes, it's early. I know. It's still May. I know. But that hasn't prevented Braves from bringing in guys that are struggling, like Jorge Soler and Eddie Rosario when the Braves won the World Series in 2021. Remember now, I know it was totally different what Soler did for us in Atlanta and the postseason. I don't think that ball has landed yet that he hit out in Minute Maid Park. But Jorge Soler is hitting 192 and 308 at bats with 13 home runs when he came to Atlanta. 192 late in the season. Eddie Rosario sitting respectable 254 and was injured. The Braves, he was injured when they got him from Cleveland. They just knew, just give it some time. So that's not I don't think the average thing really concerns the Braves as much if they see something in him and they trust Kevin Seitzer. Now, the only issue with this about Hunter Renfroe is he's with the Kansas City Royals. And what I mean by that is, where's KC going to be when it comes to the playoff hunt, the playoff deadline? I mean, I think I know Cleveland's playing really well right now, but that's still a very winnable division. It's a winnable division for them to go out and take it, because I don't think anybody's going to run away with that. Another thing with Hunter Renfroe, he's on a 2-year deal. So this year, he'll be this year, next year before he's a free agent. He could very easily be the next Adam Duvall in the Adam Duvall role, where they've already got him on a 2-year deal this year and next year. He can platoon with Jared Kelenic if they want to platoon, or he could also be that starter in right field as Ronald Acuna builds back up his leg strength and knee strength from that injury from that ACL tear. So they wouldn't have to look for that fourth outfielder / starter, because he's already taken care of. He's on the roster with Hunter Renfroe in Adam Duvall type vein. So that's I think a good candidate I would like the Braves to look at. Now, this other one, veteran presence, 1-year deal, former star, Andrew McCutchen. The only thing about this is he hasn't played a lot in the outfield this year and didn't play a ton last year. So I'm not sure if this is he's lost a step. Yeah, he's 37, so he's a little bit slower than he was playing center and right field in his prime. Obviously, he's 37. I would think he can go play out there in left field and be fine. I mean, he's got playoff experience. Was okay last year. After an okay start this year. Guys love him. Good dude. I mean, I've met him myself when I was in the clubhouse. So it's clubhouse guys, not an issue with the clubhouse presence or anything like that. And that's a big thing with these Braves and Alex Anthopoulos. The clubhouse fit, the makeup, the chemistry. That matters. You see it, and Anthopoulos is a big believer in that as well. So McCutchen's not going to have an issue with any of that at all. Could fit right in. But like I said, the only thing is, I guess we're also going to say two things. He had a chance to leave Pittsburgh last year, and they didn't trade him, I think, pretty much out of respect to McCutchen, saying he didn't really want to leave Pittsburgh. That might be the case this year, but so I don't know. But that would be a player I think the Braves should look at. And then the final one is a well-known player Braves fans love and adore only, even because he was only with the Braves for a short time in 2021. And that's right. That's the man himself, young Jock Peterson. He's on a 1-year, $9.5 million deal. Can play left, and I think the Braves feel fine with him in left field there. The Braves know what he is. That clubhouse swag, that style, who he is as a person. I mean, he can crush righties, and he's hitting righties well this year. Braves know about his playoff experience. The moment's not going to get too big for him. The only thing with this one is I'm don't know if he's gonna be available because he's with Arizona. Arizona's 8.5 back right now. I mean, if their trade deadline and they're still 8 back, then yeah. Still a long way to go though, obviously. And that's the thing. He's with Arizona. They've made all these moves. And I don't think he's going to be easy to pry away because Arizona's going to be in this hunt, I believe. So 4 guys. We'll see what happens. No one Anthopoulos. None of he probably goes in a completely different direction and gets someone unexpectedly for pennies on the dollar like he's done in the past. It's been an incredible, some of the moves, shrewd moves he's made when we haven't had a great farm system in a while. We've got a better farm system now than we did in 2021. And you saw the deals he made then. It's a very underrated farm system, in my opinion. So that's obviously have to wait and see. The Braves are going to wait a little bit to see how Duvall and Kelenic play and assess the needs on that end when we get closer to the trade deadline, or at least after the All-Star break. And that's when you start to see some moves in the baseball trading world as a whole. That's why the Luis Arraez move was a little bit surprising, a little bit different this early in the season when he went to the Padres. So I wouldn't expect anything like that from the Braves. After the All-Star break, we're on the trading deadline, obviously. There are 2 expectation times of them making a move, really. Now, I figured this was going to come to head, and it finally has. With the new expanded college football playoffs, the NFL and college football battle is here. And what I mean by that is, for the longest time, NFL games would schedule games on Saturdays when the college football season was over. Well, now that the college football season is going to extend a little bit longer because of the expanded playoffs, college football said, we're going to keep these games on Saturday. Rightfully so. That's their day. NFL, not too happy, kind of surprised and shocked after conversations they've had. And they've been, in all these years not battling, it's more like balancing the schedule of when they have games, when college football can have games. And of course, with the antitrust laws being involved too, it all makes sense. NFL Sunday, college football on Saturday, high school on Friday. That's kind of the thing. Well, college football, so like us, is going to keep with the Saturday games, expanding playoff when they expand the playoffs on Saturday, December 21st. Well, now, like I said, the NFL has been saying, you're encroaching on our turf. That's us. And it kind of makes me wonder a little bit. Is the NFL a little bit concerned? Or are they trying to send a message to college football saying no one messes with us, the NFL? Maybe it's a little bit of both, because the NFL games are on Fox and NBC, and they're not having not one but multiple games. They're on the national networks, Fox and NBC, instead of NFL Network. They chose national TV, so everybody could watch the NFL game. It's a little bit telling they're not gonna brush it under the rug. Oh, we're the NFL. We're fine. We can put it on the NFL Network and be okay. No. They put it on Fox and NBC. Interesting enough, or unfortunately enough, in my opinion, they're going to have better ratings than the college football playoffs. because they're on Fox and NBC national TV, as opposed to college football playoff games going to be on TNT since ESPN subleased out those games. I think it would have been a better ratings and numbers comparison if the games were on NFL Network. That would be a little bit more fun, a little bit better apples to apples comparison. Regular season NFL games on the NFL Network versus college football games, playoff games on TNT. That would have been a better apples to apples comparison when it comes to ratings, but that's not going to happen since NFL trying to puff out their shield and their chest. Then we're going to Fox and NBC. Interesting dynamic. It's going to be fun to see how this all plays out. And I think the big thing is going to be the college football playoff matchups and how they do against the NFL. The NFL games, it doesn't matter. It could be a crappy Jets Jaguars game and it's going to do well. I mean, that's just what it is. It's the NFL. But playoff game, football games matters if it's going to be a Boise State as the non-Power 5 school against Ole Miss. That might struggle a little bit in the ratings based on those two fan bases, one being a non-Power 5 school, the other Ole Miss obviously in the SEC, but not this big, powerful blue blood type program. So that'll affect all of it as well. So it'll be fun to see. I hate that they're doing it. That someone said, "No, what we'll go up against the NFL. We'll see what happens." You've seen all these other leagues. Major League Baseball knows they don't have a chance. They try to avoid the NFL at all things possible, which is understandable. NBA, you can kiss it goodbye. I mean, you saw their big weekend, Christmas, their big NBA weekend. Of course, the NFL scheduled a game and they absolutely crushed them in the ratings, the numbers, and all that. So college football is going to give it a go. We'll see what happens, but I think the NFL is going to win out again this year. Now, something I am happy to see, we'll see if this continues out this way when it comes to Major League Baseball, as there's been a lot less openers this year for the starting pitching front Major League Baseball. So currently, there's only been 9 openers in Major League Baseball this year compared to 12 that were used at this point last year. So currently on pace for 33 openers during the season. Now, I think that's going to go up because teams are just now hitting their stretches of 10, 12, 15, 17 straight days without off days. So that stretch is coming first 2 months of the season. You have a lot more off days. You can move your pitchers around, give everybody plenty of time off days to space it out in the starting staff. But I think another reason for this is teams believe our thought process is we can trust our starting pitcher to go 5 innings anyway. So why not get him to go 5+ innings and then we assess where we're at? Especially since some of these teams try to prevent these starting pitchers from facing the lineup a third time. That third time through the lineup, they can't get guys out. Well, yeah, they can't get guys out because they've never pitched 3 times through the lineup. They're not allowed to. They take him out. They're not allowed to figure it out. That's a thing too. So this, say they're around 100 pitches that third time through the lineup, they're probably going to take him out anyway. So, I mean, what does the opener really do? It faces that top 3, 4, 5 in the lineup, obviously, in that first inning. Hopefully, obviously, they hope it's a 1, 2, 3. But say they get the 5 or whatever. So then that third time through the lineup, say that 5th or 6th inning, those guys haven't seen the starting pitcher but twice, is the idea behind that. And that's the deal. So I think another reason why openers are a little bit down, and I'm happy about, is Gabe Kapler's not managing this year, and he did it a lot. Another team that did a lot was the Rays, and they trust their starting pitching. That's really what it comes down to. It's these teams trusting their starting pitching more than they have in the past, or they've got guys that they know can get outs. They don't have these 3, 4 inning starters. They've got 5+ inning starters that they feel good about. They don't need to burn one of their solid relievers to start the game. And I think that's a good thing. So in 2017, there's only an opener 2 times. 2022, it happened 80 times. And then just last year, 2023, it happened 154 times there was an opener, which I didn't realize it had that many. It was that many times. But I hope this fad stays a fad, and I could very easily see it fluctuating by year depending on the depth of these teams that have starting pitching. Because if you've got depth at starting pitching, it doesn't matter. You don't need to run out an opener because you trust your guys and the depth you have in the minor league system. Now every team has that, so that's why they've had to try to work their way through getting starting with an opener. Now, I read this article, this headline. I go, that sounds about right. So what does $7 million buy you? Well, it buys you one 30-second Super Bowl ad this year. One for $7 million. Of course, the TV networks love it, and they always sell out, and it's great for them, whether it's the 4 local, Fox, NBC, CBS, ABC, all those 4 local stations. That's all about them. Now, I do have a question I would love to know the answer to. I hope I don't see this at all, because I don't want to know the answer to, but I hope I don't see it. Do you think the price tag of a Super Bowl ad would decrease if it goes to a pay-per-view type model, going to a Peacock, an ESPN Plus, an Amazon, a Paramount Plus, a Netflix, a one-off games that you're seeing more and more now, like some of these international games, like these Christmas games, like the playoff game last year, these one-off pay-per-view model type games? I think it would decrease. Because why? Because there'd be less eyeballs. Less eyeballs watching your game, therefore less eyeballs seeing your commercial product, your Budweiser, your Bud Light commercials. Because right now, everybody watches the Super Bowl for one reason or the other, whether it's, the actual game going on or whether it's the halftime show, the commercials themselves. Oh, I just watched for the commercials, or I just want to see Rihanna or Taylor Swift or whoever do their halftime show thing. So everybody watches the Super Bowl for some reason. If someone's not a football fan, do you think they're really going to get, say, a peak if it goes to Peacock or Amazon or Paramount Plus? If they don't have it, if they don't have that streaming service just to watch the halftime show or the commercials? I don't think so. I mean, when you can watch YouTube the next day for those commercials, for that halftime show, you don't have to watch the game, go buy that stream, that $6.99, that $10.99, that $9.99 service to go watch the commercials or the halftime show. I don't think so. Now, obviously, this isn't going to affect the NFL, but it could affect some of their advertising partners because less people are going to see them and see it and remind people to drink Pepsi and remind people to drink Coke and remind people to use AT&T and T-Mobile and Verizon. Everyone obviously knows those brands, but it's like, why do they still advertise? That reminder, hey, don't forget about us. We're here, right? Less eyeballs on the big time advertising partners as well. So something to watch. I hope we never get there, but I'm afraid at some point we very well could. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Lock It Up Media. That's Lock It Up Media on Twitter. You also check us out at E5280 Sports. That's E5280 Sports. You've been listening to Lock It Down Sports. I'm Locke Hoover. I'll talk to you next week.